And yes, welcome back once again to another edition of the Oh No Wrestling Podcast with yours truly, the one and only Shark Break Kid Owen. And with me tonight, it's just another lowly wrestling fan, but some might know him. I wanted to call you the Italian Stallion for some reason. I don't know where that came from, Duncan.
I don't either. I'm not Rocky Balboa.
And
I'm also not Italian at all.
You're my Balboa. How about that? You're my You're my Balboa, the one and only Duncan, the king of Bong style, in the house, everybody. And we're doing this is like Oh No Wrestling After Dark.
I like it though.
This is like is this the sexy version of Oh No Wrestling because we're doing it so late?
Yeah. I know it definitely is. This is like I should like turn these lights down and just like
we should put on some mood lighting. Really, I'll get it going in a second after we get.
We got one over here.
Yeah, okay.
I'll just turn it down a little bit.
Let me see what I can do something with my hue light. Maybe I can do what's the sexiest lighting color? Okay, so what wrestling entrance should I try and emulate? Maybe I'll go a little. Should I go a little Hitman? Should I go a little Hitman?
I mean, is that attack? No, I was gonna. I mean,
see,
that's good.
That's a Hitman.
That's good.
That's a Hitman right there.
I was gonna say the red for the brood, the sexy brood entrance.
Okay, both sexy. You got. I mean, who is?
I like the pink.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it for tonight. I'm gonna go with a little.
We got my compadre Jack over here, beating up. He's going into business on the couch.
Your dog is fighting the couch. He is. Who's his imaginary enemy right now? Who is he punching in the corner?
He's cat.
He's got someone in the turnbuckle right now.
He's just going to town in the turnbuckle. Yeah. Well, let's see. We've got.
He did a dusty punch. Did he just do a dusty? He did a dusty.
Sure did. Oh yeah, he's got the two hand going on. Yeah. I think he's beating up Sammy Guevara.
Oh, could be.
Jack, are you beating up Sammy? Are you beating up Sammy Guevara, baby?
So, I don't really even want to talk about him because I don't know what are they doing with him right now? Like
making him annoy me.
Yeah, he's with Jericho and those guys, and he's
Tay and that's the thing.
I don't know. Is he involved in a current feud?
He is involved in the Jericho Appreciation Society feud.
Okay.
With
those guys.
Eddie and those guys.
Sure. I guess. I don't know. I feel like that's probably coming to an end though soon.
I would imagine.
You know, this has got
potentially even came to an end tonight.
That one could think. Yeah, so we're recording this right after Dynamite and
legit right after
Dynamite. Right after Dynamite. So I didn't get to see much of it. I had some friends over. I'll honestly, I will watch it and highlights and stuff later, but what are you hearing about it? I know some of the results.
Well, first of all,
I don't know if I like this end result that you just told me before we went on air. It was not what I thought was supposed to happen in this, but again, I need to see the match for it to make sense, you know.
Well, I mean, so what we've got is we had the barbed wire everywhere match.
That was what I was obviously referring to. Jericho now, and Kingston, yeah.
Now, not only did they have they legit had barbed wire everywhere. Justin Roberts had a barbed wire microphone.
Okay.
There's a barbed wire ring bell. Barbed wire fucking
everywhere. Barbed wire everywhere match.
Yeah.
I kind of get it now. Like they were
being literal.
I kind of like this though. I kind of like the idea. Yeah.
So, and apparently, the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Did JR have a barbed wire hat?
He may have. He probably had a barbed wire erection for Natty and her sister.
Yes.
Which we could talk about later. But the JAS was suspended in a shark cage above the ring. This is literally just
all of them were in there.
All of them were in there.
Yeah.
I think it was a big cage. But apparently
I'd
Ruby
be scared.
Soho.
I'd be scared, by the way, if I was
if you were in the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. You'd be on a 2-ton motor or 2. You'd be okay.
Yeah, but I'd be less scared if it was just me in there. Do you know what I mean? Because I can control.
Yeah, you're in
this
there
cage.
with like a bunch of other
a bunch of other goons. Like
it's you in there with Daddy Magic and fucking Cool Handy Ange, and like you're like, oh my god, and they're probably just like farting up a storm and being like, hey,
yeah,
you know,
and they're rocking it, you know. It's all
exactly.
like, hey, come on.
Yeah, and you're gonna hold on to Jake Hager for rock hard Jake Hager for stability. Be like, hold me, Jake. I'm scared.
Yeah.
But apparently Ruby Soho had control of the shark cage. Why?
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So they went at, apparently it was a good hardcore match. You know what I mean? But apparently Tay Conti came out, attacked Ruby Soho. Then Anna Jay came out to pull Tay off before turning on Ruby Soho, sending her into the ring post, and then lowering the shark cage, allowing the Jericho Appreciation Society to come out and beat down Eddie Kingston. Then Moxley, Ortiz, and Claudio came out, and there was just chaos. Jericho hit a code breaker, but then took a barbed wire chair to the face. Kingston got a near fall.
You know what I was hoping you were gonna say in all of this is that Ruby ended up joining the Jericho Appreciation Society.
No, but it looks like I mean, obviously Anna Jay didn't, but
I just think that
she's
would be
in the Dark Order, right?
Yeah, she's affiliated. One would say, yeah. No, Anna Jay's Dark Order, or she was. So.
She was because she's in that meme with Silver.
But I think for Ruby right now, doing something like that, like it would be technically a heel turn, right?
Sure.
And you could do it like that would have actually been cool if they were to do that and have Ruby have screwed Kingston, and that was all fake with her arm. And she was actually like with the Jericho Appreciation Society the whole time. I actually think that would be a way to kind of invigorate her a little bit.
Look, I don't disagree, and I don't hate that idea. However, what we have here is they are bound and determined to push Ruby Soho as a babyface, which I just don't see. She'd be much better as a heel. In any case, Sammy Guevara came out to break up a submission that Kingston had Jericho in. Jericho wrapped his arm in barbed wire and hit the Judas effect. That's how he got the win. But at the end of the show, Kingston threw Jericho into a barbed wire spider web that they had out there. Like there's just like a big web of barbed wire.
So after the match, like
to close out the show, he just yoked him into this thing. So like it's
Kingston gets, I guess they're telling that story there that Kingston kind of does in the end get like his payback, like that he's been craving this whole time, or
that I guess, but it's also that
it's sloppy. It doesn't feel good. Like
it doesn't feel like.
Why wouldn't you just have Kingston win that match?
I don't know.
Like it would. I don't know. That's stupid to me. And I really don't want them to keep running this back. So I thought it was going to be a Kingston win, and that's that. And then Jericho because Jericho's invincible. It doesn't matter how much he loses.
Jericho could lose to anybody.
It's fine. It's fine.
Because it doesn't matter because he can get anything over. Like Jericho is Jericho is invincible.
I wonder if
name of the episode, Jericho is invincible.
I wonder if he's so still in love with the stupid Painmaker thing that he felt like the Painmaker can never lose type deal. So he had to beat him.
Oh,
it would be such a Jericho.
You're right.
It's such a Jericho thought. Like that's what I'm scared of.
Painmaker can't lose. Chris Jericho can lose, but
Painmaker can't lose. We should have seen this coming a mile away, to be honest with you. But
you're not wrong.
It is interesting. So let's just bounce around with all like the random let's just do. We should come up with a name for this, Duncan. Like random internet nonsense of the week type thing. You know, like
Sure.
what are the most talked about or interesting things that you've come across in the goings on of the wrestling universe for the week, right? Like, or since the last we've talked. And I've got a couple for you. I can't tell you where I actually heard this one, and I'll just start on like a real like dumb one. I think this might have been actually from me guiltily listening to Cornette here every once in a while. And I do. I will listen to Cornette every once in a while.
Sure.
But someone asked the question somewhere as to why there is so little, I believe it's Georgia Championship Wrestling on the network, right? Or on Peacock.
Yeah.
Because they bought they bought the library or whatever.
Yeah.
The story goes, and I don't know how true this is, but it cracked me up, Duncan. It was that once Ole Anderson heard that it had actually sold because he wasn't in control of it anymore. Once he had he known it had but he was in control of the tape library. Yeah. So once he had heard it basically had been sold to Vince McMahon, he ran out into his yard and started burning all the tapes that he had in his own personal house of Georgia Championship Wrestling. So he had all the masters, and he was just like, no, fuck this. And Ole Anderson burned half the library rather than Vince McMahon own it. Which I don't know how true it is. I think this is a legend that I would like to learn more about. If anybody listening knows any more about it than I do, please fill me in, because I've never heard that one before, and it was fascinating to me.
I haven't either, but would it surprise you?
It sounds about right. And then somebody brought up that, well, maybe remember when Arn Anderson was just being an arsonist outside of Cody's house and burning things?
Yeah, and every promo was about Arn's Glock or whatever.
Yeah. It was around that time. It was Glock Arn time. But maybe he was just paying tribute to Ole, burning all
stuff in the yard.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really come across that much interesting wrestling shit other than I don't know, apparently people were pissed at Effie for a spot this past weekend.
It sounds like they were trying to equate Effie to Joey Ryan and stuff. And then
thrusting his crotch in a woman's face.
Yeah.
However, the woman who was in the match and
it was agreed upon. It was something that
and they said that they were it was a dream match. Couldn't have been happier. Blah, blah. So
this was not the same as, I believe there was an Austin Aries spot back in the day, which was, I think, not maybe discussed, and he did some kind of lewd shit like that.
I mean, he's kind of a turd though.
Yeah. Effie, it's a weird one because I've seen the gay, wrestling community, some of them being you're giving us a bad name or something. And it's a real mixture of the two sides. I don't think that Effie's out there trying to give gay wrestlers a bad name. I think that's that's the furthest thing than what he's trying to do.
100%.
And my point of view is, as long as this is kind of like a consensual performance thing, then
as long as the spot is talked about before, and
then I'm fine. Then I'm fine with every bit of it. Then I'm fine with every bit of it, because at that point it is no different than, one would say, a stink face, right?
Correct. Which also weren't necessarily always consensual.
That's a good point. Let's transition to something I think a little bit more fun. I think.
What? I don't know. Are we allowed to have fun on this show?
We're allowed to even talk about things that I thought were extremely fun from last week's Dynamite. I'm going to give you some of my like high points here because last week's Dynamite was pretty goddamn insane. Night 1 of week 1 of Fyter Fest, like that whole thing's a little bit exhausting as to why we're doing that.
How do we do that? Like, why are we arbitrarily just naming things like this?
It's kind of dumb, but it's fine. It makes it feel a little bigger, and they always do put on a pretty spectacular card when they do these mini specials. This one really is gonna they just need to call it the Shark Week Wrestling or something, like for the 2 weeks, because that's what it is. Like it's a promotional tool for Shark Week and all that, and whatever, that's fine. And they'll find, like, eventually I think they will ditch that Fyter Fest branding because, I mean, it's sort of irrelevant now. It was funny like for the first time, but it should have been a one and done, really. Right. Come up with a new summer goddamn, come up with a new summer slam or whatever the fuck you're doing. It's not even Summer Slam, but a new special, whatever. And they do these, and AEW typically, like, they pop a bit more of a rating because they're going to put on a slightly bigger card. They're going to make it feel important, and they do a good job of that. And in this last one, of course, we got to see the Wardlow Cassidy match.
Oh yeah.
And it seems like we haven't talked in so long. I didn't want to like miss it, right? Because it's been so long since we talked. We haven't got to discuss that match, and I loved it. First off, a lot of people I've heard multiple opinions of it, and I kind of just wanted to get your opinion because I thought it was I think it was the right result. I don't think Cassidy was damaged really much at all in eating a pin to Wardlow. If you see the if you see the interactions too, Wardlow's like, damn, that's a tough son of a bitch. Like it's very positive in the building of Cassidy, in a sense that he went that far, he got that close. Like it's like that dude is still building. It might take, but that guy can be a world champion one day, and it's an interesting way of telling. I think there is a very long-term story with him, and I think it can.
I'm sure there is, but here's my question: is there a case to be made that Wardlow, with as dominant as he's been in all these other things, right? Like how much he dominated MJF and all these other people, is there a case to be made that Cassidy shouldn't be putting up that much of a fight with as strong as Wardlow's been made out? I understand making Orange look strong, right? Like I really do. But at the same time,
but like, are you saying, like, are you sacrificing Wardlow looking a little bit weak? And I think Orange is literally the only person on that roster that could do that. Anybody else, I think that what you're talking about is 100% correct. But I think because it's Orange and he's almost presented now as a semi-main eventer, and I think because of that, you're putting two semi-main eventers on the same level, so it's almost that Wardlow has risen to the stock of an Orange Cassidy and not the other way around, to be quite honest.
Which I get to a point, but it's like also you're presenting Wardlow as this like heavyweight babyface, or not babyface, but like heavyweight dominant semi-main eventer. It's just,
I think he is a babyface really at this point, isn't he?
No, I know. But that's not that really has
the point.
Nothing to do with. Yeah, it's just really more like the size discrepancy, like how I get it. I don't have a problem with it. I can just see where there would be an argument to be made that maybe, and I probably sound like fucking corny right now. Because like
and that's fine sometimes, because those arguments are valid. at times.
Correct.
There's
Correct.
the,
Like I want to have that argument if that argument is there to be made, and not just because like, well, I'm a fan of Orange Cassidy, I want him to look strong, as much as I'm a fan of Wardlow and I want him to look strong.
We really like the way Wardlow in my mind, and I think your mind needs to be presented as is almost Goldberg like, almost superhuman, almost unbeatable. Yeah. And he showed maybe too much vulnerability perhaps in your liking in this match.
That's exactly it. Yeah. That's exactly it. Like I want him to be more, for want of a better term, I want him to be more Goldberg or Brock in that presentation.
I think you are right for what they probably should do, but I think that they're moving in a direction with him that maybe even be a little bit more nuanced, because I think they want us to connect emotionally to him in a different level. I think they want at times to show his human side and maybe a sympathetic side to Wardlow, because he does kind of have, at the same time he's this brute force monster, he does kind of still excuse me, have this underdog layer to him. And that is something they've always presented with AEW with Wardlow, that he has this underdog thing. So I wonder if that's where the miss in the presentation is at the moment.
But didn't they already pay off an underdog storyline with him having to overcome all of these obstacles to get to MJF, to get to be signed to AEW in the first place? Like, how many more climbing the mountaintops does he need to do? Like,
I don't know that this one is climbing a mountaintop. I think it's just going to be a lot of successful defenses, but he's not going to necessarily be like looking like he's completely unstoppable during these defenses. He's going to have his challenges, and and they're going to make him like, they're going to test it. You're going to see the test of him over time and time and time. And it's going to make for some sympathy with the audience that this guy's been through the fucking war, because he's got this open challenge. That's an interesting story too, because
I like the open challenge. I guess my problem is that at some point AEW kind of builds everybody as being unstoppable. And then when they have to lose, or there has to be some sort of a, like a roadblock or whatever, it kind of ends up like a wet fart, and it takes them a while to recover from it. Like they stumble, and then it's just like, fuck, we got to find our footing. And then it takes a couple weeks, and then
part of that though too is I think that you've got the Tony Khan shiny new toy syndrome that happens every once in a while, and you forget about what you just were building, and then you throw the new shiny toy into too much TV, and you forget about people.
It's true. And he's got a lot of people he's got to try and fucking take care of. Half of the roster you wouldn't know is on the roster unless you watch Dark.
So I'm gonna nerd for a second. Duncan, I started this game, and it's a dumb wrestling booker thing. It's called Journey of Wrestling, journeyofwrestling.com. It's a browser-based game. You can sign up. It's free. It's free.
Is this a text-based game?
Yeah. It's a text-based game.
You're back to an eFed.
It's an eFed, and you get to book things, and you get to do all that, and it's...
I'm gonna go back to the OTEP message board and see if that's still working, since we're going back to fucking 2002.
This is good though. It's laid out really nice, Duncan.
All right, I believe you.
Just check it out.
I know. I love it when you nerd.
But they do, like, so they have like the scenarios already built in for you as well, because you can do like right now AEW, like WWE, like, and the rosters and the rosters are all updated for you. Like all the rosters are there. So it's a great way to see, like, and they do like when injuries happen, like for instance, like, so name someone who's injured right now. Like Bailey right now, still on the injured list, not in contention because she's not in there, right? So
Adam Cole.
Yeah, people like that, right? So there's injured lists for all the feds. So someone is doing the roster. Someone is updating the roster. It's pulling from the databases of whatever the company website, and it's great. So and then you can do um you can start like the Monday Night Wars, for instance. You can just run a scenario where you've got the rosters for the Monday Night Wars, and you can
and how you do it.
and you can trade back and forth. So you can like trade Shawn
So
Michaels
how
to
long is this going to
WCW.
be? How long is it going to be before you get fired for playing this at work?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean,
Matter of days, probably.
I mean, it's pretty cool though. You should do it.
Yeah,
I spent.
You should do it.
Yeah, it's $15 for the full thing that I'm talking about. Like, it's.
I'm sorry.
It's 15
You
bucks.
lost me.
Oh,
You lost.
sorry.
No. You lost me at money.
Well, I'm gonna try and get them. Like, we should get started a deal with them, and we can advertise for them, and then we can then build our own leagues too. We can have our own feds, and then we can fight and trade. And I think it's a genius idea. I think that we all need to get into it. And you can play multiplayer. And
I think that everybody should just give us that $15 instead.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. Like, but you know,
yeah,
I'm just saying. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah, but like, no, for real, just give us patreon.com.
Yeah, patreon.com/ONRS. Do that. Do that. So, Duncan, the real big news, I think, of the week was that, well, the news kind of came, and we were all excited. And then it like was stolen from us, but kind of then came back, and now we're unsure of where we stand. I'm talking about the switch of WWE programming of Raw going to PG-14.
Apparently, SummerSlam is also rated TV-14.
I thought all of the pay-per-views were
the PLEs, the premium live events.
I think for the most part, those are actually already rated.
I am
TV-14.
just, it made a blip in a thing. So,
I mean, you think about it. Look at what even the dumb shit that we've seen. Some of that is actually more PG-14 content on like recent, even like The Fiend and Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell with a dumb big mallet. Like it, I get it. Like but that's pushing the line of PG at that point. So I would think that would have to be PG-14. And I think most of the PLEs or premium live. Yeah, premium live events are that way, but the big deal of it is obviously going to cable and doing that.
Sure.
They always keep saying real quick. They always keep saying it's just Raw though too. They keep saying Raw is going to PG-14. So leave out NXT, I would assume. Leave out Fox for sure. Network television.
Is NXT not TV-14? I don't think they're TV PG.
I'm sure they are.
I don't know because they're on USA.
Well, so is Raw. Like they're on...
I know, and that's why it would make sense for Raw to, like, I know they are going.
I think.
TV-14.
Okay, so have they said that though? You think? I mean,
no, but I have a confirmation that they are.
That NXT is.
No, that Raw is for sure.
Well, I mean, all of us kind of know that. That's been going around.
Yeah, but like,
it's just a matter of when. It's also like, is this an every week going to 14? Because they do, they have one.
No. It's going to a full-time TV-14,
and that's interesting. Let me ask you this, Duncan. How do you feel it will impact the product? Do you feel it will be an improvement? Do you feel like, what is your gut reaction? Because I've got a couple, but I want to hear yours first.
My gut reaction is that it shouldn't really matter a whole lot. You're going to hear some edgier words in promos. Like, okay.
More bitches. They like that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, they're just going to, what I don't want,
maybe a couple of shits an episode, right?
Maybe you'll get one or two if it's like really
heated. Yeah,
to like really hit it home.
Kevin Owens, like with the right guy, like the
sure. I don't give a shit. Kane, relax. What I don't want is for it to be an immediate like,
I didn't mean to have
oh,
it on.
this was the week they went TV 14, because it's just like everything is like hypersexual and hyper, you know what I mean? Like a lot of fucking really edgy promos and storylines, and then it's like, why did it, you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be like that.
I think
So
no, I think you're absolutely right, and I think I'm torn with the whole idea because
one second.
I'm not like, just even from a writing perspective, right?
I just think that they
Like,
can have a little bit more like aggressive matches. That's the way to make it TV 14 and have it be more of a payoff.
I would enjoy that. Yes. And maybe, do you think, okay, so sub question, do you think Cody has had any influence on this?
I know that Cody has tweeted that he's had that
Well,
he,
they
you know,
like he does the winky face is what
he's
he
a
did,
cheeky
right?
bugger, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah. We know other ones, but yeah, yes.
He's a cheeky whippet.
He's a cheeky little bugger. And you're right. I feel, I don't know. I think he might have started the talk of it, but it's still a lot probably beyond him to make any, of course, thing like that
and
happen.
I think that with the talent that they have right now, the way to make WWE's product stand out is to have that talent showcase what they're capable of, and in a lot of cases that needs to be more aggression, ruthless aggression.
Dude,
Hal,
congratulations to John Cena for finally, he had, well, they were married or something, like
yeah, whatever.
they were married, but then they renewed their vows. I don't know. Congratulations, John Cena.
Congratulations,
Cool.
Juan.
Good job, bro. Good job.
Good job, bro.
She is, yeah. Good job, bro.
Good job, bro.
Okay.
Wait, but hold on. Like,
No,
do you remember
What?
when we went to WrestleMania?
I do.
And they made such a big deal about him proposing to Nikki Bella,
Oh yeah.
and then they broke up like an hour and a half later.
It was like a couple weeks after that, right?
It wasn't long.
It wasn't long.
But like they made such a big deal out of it, and he didn't want to get married, and now he's married again, and I don't give a shit, but I just think it's funny. It's all just humorous to me.
And you know what? Like, I don't know if you know anything about the chick that he married, but she's like a real,
Not a goddamn thing.
I looked it up, man.
Okay.
Me and Teresa looked it up like a couple weeks back.
It's like, who is this?
Yeah, who is this bitch? And she's like crazy smart. like she's like nothing to do with any sort of entertainment. Like they met randomly at some like restaurant, and it was like just yeah. And she's nothing to do with entertainment. And she's crazy smart. She's some scientist of some description. Like she's,
you know what though,
yeah,
like that seems right.
Yeah,
A better fit for John Cena
than a Nikki Bella. Yeah, all day long. Yeah, all day long.
Because he's like weirdly smart.
He's a nerd too.
Yeah, but like got all these weird OCD ass rules for his house and shit like that. Like I
believe it.
Yeah, like for some reason that totally tracks with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think we see more blood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of like
the Cody role.
He is the new Flair.
Let's transition into that if we must.
Did I just segue?
I think you accidentally segued for us, bro. Look at you.
Into the modern day Matarara.
Here's what's crazy is everybody's been wondering, and they really kind of did leave it to pretty much the last minute, like less than 2 weeks before the event, to announce finally who Rick Flair's opponent was going to be for this
Yeah.
Jim Crockett Promotions presents Ric Flair's last match.
Fucking,
Right?
yeah.
Did I get that right?
No, I think so.
I think that's right.
That feels right.
And they've been doing all sorts of little like Jim Crockett promotions, like control center videos promoting each match. They've been one by one, they've been building up. And to be honest with you, the card isn't bad. And they just announced another match. I think they did. Yeah. If you, I don't have the card in front of me, but it's worth. Hey, I'll pull it up. Yeah, if you don't mind. And I'm gonna be honest with you. This is not something I am interested in buying. I kind of get a little grossed out from Conrad's Empire. Maybe it's out of jealousy. Maybe it's out of just like, I don't know. There's something that I don't know sits right with everything Conrad. That's maybe just me. But what is it, because he has 5 million podcasts? Yeah. And they're all successful because he's just friends with, like, he married into the Flair family. Yeah. And he's not that good. And all of them have tons of ads and it's annoying. So that's my beef with you, Conrad. But, you know, and I mean, he has given us media passes. That's fine. Give me more of them. StarCast, man. We could get it. We could go if we wanted to go to Nashville. I don't want to go to Nashville. But in fairness to them, they did have to get a bigger venue, you know? Like what is the size of the venue that they're going to, do you know? What sort of seat, like, if you're estimating? Like, I heard it was pretty big. Like, I heard Municipal Auditorium, I don't know, probably like $3,000 to $5,000, 3,000 to 5,000. I was gonna say 5. I've heard, yeah. And dude, if they do 5, I think they can do 5 for this with this build. Like, it's sold out. Is it? Yeah. I'm very curious to see how many tickets that drew, because that's saying something too. Like, that's a new, like, this is interesting on multiple levels, Duncan. Oh shit, 9,700 is the capacity. Okay, that's impressive, Duncan. And that's sort of an interesting little new twist to the new world of wrestling that we're gonna be in, right? Think about this. We've seen the transition, like, from radio to podcast. Oh no, there's still tickets. Okay. But hear me out here. I think this is, I'm listening. Yeah. I think this whole concept is actually something that's going to be happening more and more, and some are going to work and some aren't. But it's like podcasting, it's like releasing an album on your own. It's instead of having to use an actual full promotion to put on an event, these one-offs are going to come around, where it's this one-off event for this, you know, imagine, you know, this is going to happen a lot more, especially on the indies, as guys that never quite made it into the big leagues, but you can throw like a legacy event for people. And and I think with the right type of cards, this is a good way to sell off a one-off pay-per-view, you know? And like, that's what they're doing. I also I want to know how much it is as well. I think it's like $40 or some shit, like, which is too much, I think, for what they're, if they were smart, they'd throw that bitch on there for $10 or $9.99, and they'd have everyone would buy it. Like, and it would get major views. Is it on Fight? I think so. I think it's on Fight. Well, let's look it up. Ric Flair's last match. Well, I mean, the real way to do it is to look it up through the VPN, so you buy it from the UK. But some of us are lazy and are just not going to do that. So whatever you tell me, it's going to be half the price. So $35. Yeah, it's probably like $15 or something. In the UK. What day is it? 20, is it July 31st? 31st. Next Sunday next. All right. I'll consider it. So obviously, I don't know, maybe people haven't seen it, but the big build for this, of course, was done through a series of vignettes, and this final one culminating with, Ric Flair coming out of the gym, and then Jay Lethal was kind of like resting over there on the side. Jay Lethal,
laying on the fucking ground.
yeah, what's he doing there? That's real.
I don't know.
What a creepo. So he's just laying around outside of Ric Flair's gym, and then Ric's coming out, and then Jay Lethal pops up, and he's like, fucking really aggressive against Old Man Flair.
Sure is.
Sure is a real jerk, if you ask me. And then all of a sudden, who pops up to back up, one Jay Lethal, but none other than Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
This is like the weirdest cross-promotional fucking like incestuous thing happening.
And I think what makes it even weirder is that Jeff Jarrett just signed on as
a producer,
as a live event producer with the WWE. And and maybe that was just one thing they left out of his contract, that he's just maybe allowed to do indie dates, which they didn't think, because they probably thought, well, yeah, you don't want to do that. Like, why would we have to write that?
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. And now he's just, well, it's not in the contract, so why the fuck can't I do indie dates? He's not, I don't think he's signed to a legacy contract. Legacy contract, he couldn't do that. But if he's just working technically for the office,
right?
No reason unless it specifically says he can't, no reason he can't.
Dude,
I think it's a loophole that Jeff's found.
Dude, I think we need to order Ric Flair's last match.
Maybe we do. Or is it the type of thing that because of Ric Flair's legacy, Vince has allowed Jeff to do this as like a one-off favor to Flair?
That could be too. And also Jarrett could just kind of be like, I'm going to do what I want. Yeah. What are they going to do? Fire me? I don't care.
Fine.
He's been fired. Yeah. He's been fired by Vince like 6 times. He doesn't give a shit.
Go ahead. Yeah. Do it again.
Fuck off.
Whatever. Yeah. I'm gonna go wrestle Ric Flair in his final match.
I've quit better jobs than this.
And then, of course, there was the announcement with, cool old Andrade is rolling up in here. And
he's my son-in-law.
He's my son-in-law. It's family.
Son-in-law.
It's my family. It's family now. It's family. So
apparently Karen Jarrett is also going to be in the corner of Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett.
Who's Karen Jarrett?
Karen Jarrett, formerly Karen Angle. It's Jeff Jarrett's wife, Kurt Angle's ex-wife.
Yeah. I forgot about that thing.
The card for this is fucking stacked.
It's really pretty good. Somehow, like Conrad money, and like they threw with, I don't know if it's just because of the Jim Crockett name. That's also confusing. How are they used? Like, they don't own the tapes, but they own the name. That's all weird. Starcast is going to make a ton of money. This is going to be a very successful event. And I think
this is going to be the biggest wrestling weekend since
All In
or Nothing. Yeah, probably.
It's like that. You know what I mean? It has that sort of type of feel is what I mean. It's like this. I'm not going to say this is going to form an indie, because it won't. That's not what it's intended to do.
No, it's not going to form a promotion, but I get what you're saying.
I think this is an experimental new thing that they're going to be doing. That there's going to be these select events with these almost super cards. And I think there's room for that in the wrestling climate. And I think that's a great way to utilize certain promotions that we don't all get to see, because they're not able to get to Florida, or Florida promotions not being able to get to, Texas or New York or wherever it is. So we're able to like possibly see like, your GCW, CCW, your supercars.
Okay,
everybody sends things over, and we do a super show. Why the hell not?
And not everybody on these are signed to anywhere either. Like, dude, you have Ray Phoenix versus Laredo Kid versus Taurus versus Bandito in a 4-way. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's nuts. That's
worth
absolutely
the
nuts.
$15 alone.
It is.
You have Jordan Grace defending her Knockouts championship against Deonna Purrazzo and Rachel Ellering in a 3-way match. That will be
That will bang.
fucking banger.
That will bang.
The Wolves versus the Motor City Machine Guns will fuck. The match that was added earlier today.
I know, of course I know Motor City, but
The Wolves
don't know
is
I've seen them, but I don't know, like, I can't really. I remember thinking like, that they're good, but I can't, like, I haven't seen enough of them to know like a ton about them.
Yeah, they're good. They're Detroit, so I'm with them.
Yeah.
The match that was announced earlier today is a 4-way, which is Nick Wayne, Konosuke Takashita, Alan Angels, and Jonathan Gresham in a 4-way.
That's another good match.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they built a really good card
and that's just a handful. There's more matches, but like those are the ones that really stand out to me.
I mean, think about this real quick. How much better is that than your average NXT
premium live
or premium like, yeah, but seriously, like, you're getting close to even like look at Death. Like, I thought about this with Death Before Dishonor, you know, which we're going to do predictions for later, but you can pair that 5-match card to any WWE card, and I think I'm choosing this one.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm choosing this one. Like,
well, I mean, look at what SummerSlam's lining up to be, and it's just like,
and you know what, Duncan? They always deliver though on the PLEs. They do. They always do a much better job. It's as if the TV is just for the money and they do the actual good shit for the. Yeah, it's interesting how that one works.
Well, also, like, it's better. They perform better when their feet are to the fire, and it's just almost that fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, and when that happens, they have to let the wrestlers wrestle. Yeah. So it typically ends up being better because guess what? It's well, they don't think it's a wrestling program, but we want to watch a wrestling program. So
right. They just announced another match for Death Before Dishonor as well.
What do we got?
We got a 6-man tag team title match set for Death Before Dishonor.
Okay.
So we have the champions, the Righteous, which is Vincent, Tyler Bateman, and Bill Carr. So Bill Carr used to be part of Team Tremendous. I think he's he goes by Dutch now. I'm sorry. Vincent Bateman and Dutch, because he used to be Bobby Dutch in. So
it's a 6-man.
FCW.
It's a 6-man tag.
It's a 6-man tag for the 6-man or for the 6-man. Yeah,
for the trios, like
for the trios championship.
So they're actually using the Ring of Honor trios championship.
It's the Ring of Honor World 6-man tag team champions.
Okay, this is interesting because it, you know, I know those titles have obviously existed. Like, it's not like we're inventing a new title. But this
is the first time that they have been
within the AEW structure that they have been acknowledged. Even like, let alone defended.
But yes.
Yeah. So that is an interesting thing with this 6-man tag, and with all the rumors, of course, that they were going to possibly introduce a trios tag into AEW. Now we're gonna get, you know, more in deep into the woods of too many fucking belts type deal, but.
Well, it's almost not too many belts if you're just bringing belts back and not activating new ones.
We need to have all of this stuff basically in, like, I think ROH needs to be ROH with dark and dark elevation. That's ROH. And then you move.
I don't disagree.
Like, at this point, that's what we need to do. We need to have some sort of weekly TV, even if it's just on YouTube. And hopefully with all that sort of like building towards a main product, you can sell to TV, even if it's a 1 hour lower, you know, tier level, like lower, like 11 o'clock at night on fucking TBS or something, you know, like on
Yeah.
a weird night, like you can pull that off, and yeah, that's what probably what they need to do with ROH, but we're not there yet. We definitely will save some of those predictions for a little bit later, because I wanted to fantasy book something with you that I've just been salivating over since it just kind of popped in my head.
Oh God.
Well, Claudio popped up in AEW,
Mm-hmm.
and super excited about that. Always had a big hard on for Claudio.
Sure.
I got a hard on for another AEW guy.
You have a hard on for most of AEW.
Yeah, well, but this one in particular, I think, is like the perfect matchup. And so I'm really excited for a possible Claudio Castagnoli and John Silver matchup in AEW at some point. I just need to see that. Johnny Hungy and Claudio, and the stare down. Look at him. Because he's like mini Claudio, right?
Yeah.
And he's getting.
No, that's exactly like,
he's
because I'm picturing him and Claudio like staring each other, like Claudio literally staring down.
But it's going to be hilarious, and it's going to be really, really good too. Like that's.
And then to watch how difficult it is for Claudio to swing Silver because his legs are so short.
Yeah, and he's gonna do all sorts of weird,
and then
like
Silver's
jiggling, he's gonna be like dancing.
All right, you know what? You sold me.
Yeah. It was.
I wasn't on board. I was like, "The fuck are you talking about?"
No.
And then I'm like, "Okay, no, I can." Okay,
it just works. I think I know the answer to this, but I've been seeing this is like the number one question that's being thrown around on the Reddits and Twitters from what I've seen. If there's like two very 50-50, right? And it's when I think I know your response before I even ask the question, but when he comes back, will you want Mox or Punk as your champion?
Oh, it's a hard one, isn't it?
I mean, I know your answer, but
honestly,
but you can see it's why it's a 50-50 thing, right?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I want to see what they were gonna do. Like, I still think that some of those matches that Punk was gonna have are gonna be on the table.
I wonder what matches those are.
Well, who do you want to see Punk face, I guess, as the champion? I
think the whole, it's very coincidental that Punk gets injured. We also don't see, we have that promo from MJF and we don't see them for a while. Still haven't. It's they're almost exact timelines, right? Like MJ, like you think about it.
And I think at this point, like, to speak to the MJF thing, it's just like, you really got to do something with that soon.
I think the whole point was eventually going to lead us to Punk losing the belt to MJF. And that was going to be MJF's first big victory, first win, and it would be the big one. He'd probably cheat to get it. There would be something there.
Sure.
Or isn't that the perfect time? Because we were saying this before. Like, there is a certain, weirdly, MJF can turn face right now. Weirdly, MJF can turn face. If they wanted to do it, they could. And we all know how much we want to see a heel CM Punk. So wouldn't that be the perfect place because of the whole Bret Hart thing, the double turns, all this sort of stuff? If they're going to pay homage, was that not maybe one of the things they were going to do? Is an MJF CM Punk double turn. So, like, I do think that there were plans in motion, and I do think there's a scramble there right now.
Yeah.
They made the right call. Like, rather than putting it back on Hangman, they made the right call to put that on Mox. Mox is the guy. when you're in trouble, like in a pandemic, to carry you through, because he's just that fucking good and cool. He is the guy to carry you through this period when your world champion, big money investment CM Punk gets his dumbass injured when he, breaks his ankle on the way to the ring, jumping into the crowd. You call John Mox because he's going to do business and he's going to do you just fine.
I think maybe for me, the window for really wanting to see because the Punk match was all about Forbidden Door, right? Like, and it was all about Tanahashi.
Yeah, no, it's he's got, it's hard to pronounce. I was I was thinking of the one, like the guy that he had the match with on Dynamite last week, which was fucking phenomenal, by the way. That Eddie wrestled him before that.
Takashita?
He's the shoe guy. Some people will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, yeah. Is it Takashita? It might have been. I can't remember now. But I interrupted you. What were you saying about?
No, I was gonna say I feel like the window for Punk being champion,
it might have expired.
I think it might have expired. Yeah.
He needs to kind of
closed.
I think that a lot of fans will actually be very happy if Mox were to retain, but that's the perfect time to have that next person interject, i.e. MJF. I mean, you have Punk lose it to Mox, but MJF is somewhere in that mix, and he's the next. And I can see that working too. I can absolutely see that working. There's also all this talk about Kenny Omega coming back soon. I don't know how true that is, but
I kind of doubt it.
It seems a lot earlier than he has constantly been saying during this whole process. So does this come out of nowhere from you like it did for me? I'm like, nah, that's kind of not what I was getting the vibe from. Like
last week, it was all like, nope, Kenny's still going to be out for quite a while. And now all of a sudden it's like, Kenny's coming back soon.
I guess it's theoretically possible that he might be well enough and feeling good enough that he wants to be involved, and maybe he pops up on TV in some fashion or form.
But do we need that?
But for what cause? Because when I want Kenny Omega to come back, I want that fucking theme song to drop, and I want him to be in his gear, and I want him to be coming to the ring to wrestle a match or to challenge or something, right? Like, I don't need Kenny coming out just with the Bucks for whatever reason. Like, so save that.
Honestly, it's gonna end up being Kenny Will Ospreay when he comes back.
It should be. And that totally brings us to, obviously some of that stuff that's been going on, which is borderline hysterical to me. It's a work.
Yeah.
It's a work. It's classic. And it's really fucking fun. I really enjoyed how, we talked about it last time. Let's not forget, Kenny Omega can be a bit of a dick too. But I've really enjoyed like how much Will has increased the dick, like he
has definitely stepped it up to like god tier dickdom.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen it, I think the biggest evidence of this comes from a match with, I always forget this guy's name. He's this annoying, jobber English wrestler that Will's had this like borderline Mad Kurt, I think is his name.
Yeah.
So Will's had like destroyed him before, and this was another chance to destroy him again, and it was one of those. He's a comedy wrestler because of course he could never compete with Will Ospreay, but he keeps challenging him, that type of deal. And yeah, so it's a match with him, and Will's beat him a million times, and here we go. Like, Will's gonna beat him again, but this time, because of all the shit that him and Kenny Omega have been talking, he picks this dude up and he slams him with Kenny Omega's finisher, the one winged angel. And I'd love, first off, do you see Kenny Omega's response to this? I'll tell you in a second
No.
if you have it.
No, I
I'll
didn't.
leave it for the end. I'll leave it for the end. So he gets it. He does the one wing angel, and the one wing angel is extremely protected, like as a finisher. What is it, Duncan? It's been kicked out of. I think is it twice, but only twice.
At most.
I feel like it was Okada and Hangman are the only two that have kicked out of it. I could be wrong on that, but that sounds right in my head. And so it's an extremely protected finisher. So Will does it to this kid that we know he's already gonna beat, and he's like, this kid's fucking out, and the pin is like secured in that, incredibly tight, stacked roll up position that you have after the one wing angel, like, with the shoulders down, legs over him, fucking full hook, wrenching and all that. And 1, 2. No, Will's that little prick that he takes his leg off and he pulls this guy's shoulder and does a jokey face of, oh my god, he kicked out. And it's the cheeky fucking bastard. And he's fucking with Kenny Omega. There's no reason for this to exist other than Will Ospreay fucking with Kenny Omega. And then he's, oh my god, someone else kicked out of the one wing angel. Now Kenny Omega was like, a bit childish, but great execution is what he said the next day on Twitter, or in response to it. Pretty childish, I think, is what he said, but great execution. Yeah, something like that.
Of course, it's a work.
Yeah. And I kind of love it, and I think that match should be Kenny's like big return match. I also just wonder how they're gonna handle like all the stuff that's going on with like the Bucks, and like, are we gonna get the Elite back? Is it gonna be the Elite like the Bucks and Hangman versus Jay Lethal and probably Adam Cole. It'd be Adam Cole and Red Dragon. I think that's maybe what they're doing. I kind of even don't want to see that though. I'm kind of over that. I kind of want them all to be doing different shit. Like it doesn't interest me that as much as it should do. Maybe like it's kind of a. I don't know.
No, I think I'm kind of on the same page with you.
It feels like that another one that kind of like the Punk thing. That shit might have sailed. Like you can revisit it later. Like Punk will be champion again.
Sure.
And it will, I think they'll get their money's worth, and they'll do what they wanted to do probably this time, or a different version of it. But it would seem so predictable and convenient if he just comes back and beats Moxley and takes it. Like that seems really lame, right?
Yeah, it does.
It seems
like
lame
I'm
as
not
fuck.
even. I think the
even
worst
if
part
you
is,
are a Punk fan, you got to admit that shit sucks.
Yeah, I'm not even excited about the prospect of that match. That's the thing. Like, I'm not excited about seeing Mox versus Punk because I'm just like, Punk's gonna win.
I think,
but I don't know. And then like, I don't know. Punk feels like a fragile old man to me now.
Yeah, and I think. When Moxley knows he can go with somebody and do that style that he likes to do, he does his style, and it's brilliant. I think he's on a fucking run.
I mean, and it's not like he and Punk don't have a history and they don't know each other.
But I do think it would kind of feel a bit soft for some reason. I feel like Moxley would pull back in a match like that. Like I feel like
you can't pull back. Like Mox is one of those guys. You can't
have any of that going through his head. You can't. I also do, before we get even further into this, and it's very upsetting that we just had the loss to Jericho tonight. But I thought this would have been, I've talked about it before. This was the perfect time if you wanted to just give even if it was a month, give Eddie Kingston the run as an interim champion. Give Eddie Kingston the belt. This was the chance. And I don't know that opportunity is missed yet either. I think that you can still fit that in, especially with such a direct connection to Moxley, that maybe he asks him for that sympathy match, like friendly, just put the belt on the line. Let's see what we can do. And he's able to steal one for a bit.
I don't know that in the same way that, you have that about Eddie Kingston. I had the same thing about Brody King.
Sure.
And I don't think that either of them are going to get that sort of
it's a sympathy belt is what I'm talking about. And I know that's happened in the past, and I don't like that for 99% of people, but Eddie Kingston deserves a sympathy belt. I don't know what it is.
I think Eddie Kingston would hate a sympathy
belt. You're right. That's the thing too. He needs to fucking earn it. It needs to be that match, that grudge match. I just hope he's not out of that main event picture, because he deserves to be considered a main eventer, not an upper mid carder. He's a main eventer. That dude can put asses in seats, and we consistently see it from him with every promo and every match. Obviously, I didn't see the match tonight, but I can't wait to watch it. And Eddie, we got you. You obviously, we haven't even talked about the tag titles changing hands and that incredible match, that 3-way tag match between, everybody talks about it a lot, but there are too many, I think, 3-way tag matches in AEW. They need to pull back a little bit from that. But
it does set them aside, because you never see it in WWE, because they have 4 tag teams.
I just think they do it way too often. It's just they keep going to it, and they can be good, but sometimes I just want that one-on-one tag match. It's as simple as that.
But that's what FTR is for.
Yeah, and the ROH stuff, to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and say that I thought that 3-way between Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Young Bucks, obviously champions, and Swerve
in our glory.
And our glory. Yeah, Swerve in our glory. I always forget the name of their team. But it was phenomenal. I watched that one live. I've watched it back again, and it was a Young Bucks match without it all being a Young Bucks match.
Yeah. They got their shit in, but
they didn't overtake the match.
No.
And there was a really interesting, I love this little spot. I don't know, maybe no one else liked it, but I've not heard anybody talk about it. But I don't know why I like it necessarily, but there's a moment where I think it was Nick Jackson and Swerve. They were wrestling, and they both ended up on the outside. And there was this interaction where they both acknowledged that they were on the outside, and they would talk shit to each other. And I think they were basically saying well, I'm a better wrestler. Why don't you get back in the ring? And they both stopped for a second. Why are we going to fight out here? And they both got back in the ring at the same time. And one of them bounced off. It was this just weird, when do you ever see that? On mainstream television wrestling, it happens when you're sitting ringside, but there was a moment they focused on that, and that's where AEW needs to do more of this, is almost bringing the television viewer the experience of what it's like to watch wrestling from the first row.
Yeah.
And they occasionally do it on both WWE occasionally does it too, and they do a good job of it as well.
Yeah.
But with the AEW stuff, because they can be a little less filtered, it feels just a little bit more real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I just feel goddamn, we need a little bit more of that. And I saw that in this match. And we saw, just a great performance by all of them. I'll say that I fell in love for the first time. I finally got Ricky Starks. This was my Ricky Starks. I get it now. yeah, guy's money. It's the real deal. Like it and that dude will be that guy's a champion somewhere, eventually in a
When we saw him at that dark taping, I was just like, okay,
there's something about him and
yeah.
and I keep
And the way,
hearing
like,
people
I don't know,
pump him
like
up and I've just never clicked with it,
it's the air guitar and the entrance and I'm like,
I think it's getting there though. Like
yeah,
it's all starting to work and it's clicking with me and and what he's doing in the ring is matching his character.
yeah,
And that's where like no, this Sammy Guevara is an incredible wrestler, right? But Sammy Guevara, I'll just say it, is a bit of a spot monkey.
sure,
Ricky Starks is telling a much better story most of the time in the ring with his movements and his selling and all.
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's where
100%.
that's what he's doing. That's where I got it, and especially in this match, which I think is really really important. What do we do here now? Do we want to?
I
Do we want to do
I think we got to
predictions?
get into it.
We can
I
do
think
that.
we got to get into it
We can
because
absolutely
Ohno
do
After
it.
Dark is
is
late for old man Duncan.
Yeah, we only got so much here, but it is time for some what is it? Death Before Dishonor 2022 prediction. Yeah, so we were debating whether or not to even do predictions on Ring of Honor.
That's true. What did the group have to say, by the way?
Oh, I didn't ask them. I was.
Oh, okay, cool.
I just debated in my own head. And
well, we debated,
and then I was like, well, you know what? We're gonna give it a shot because I'll probably pick it up for $20 and do that. And yeah, that's all you got to do, guys. You got to get a VPN, and then you go and you buy it from Fight TV, and then it's like $20, and instead of the $50 that they'll charge you here, and it's fine. You can do that. It's legal, no problem. That's
legal.
It's my advice. That's all you got to do. Anyway,
Would like to state that we are not legal advice.
Not a legal counsel. Yeah,
not legal counsel.
Not
correct.
Legal counsel. You look.
All statements are for entertainment purposes only.
Well said, Duncan. Well said. Well said. So here we go. Here we got a few different matches. Let's start with the 6-man that you just mentioned. Do you still have that pulled up, or did you exit that?
Yeah,
because I don't have it written down. I
didn't even get a chance to finish reading off who it was against.
Let's see what we got here.
So we have. Well, do you want to start with the pre-show because they did announce a pre-show?
Why don't you start it off for me here?
All right. So in pre-show action, we have Allison Kay versus Willow Nightingale.
Okay.
Which is a rematch from their August 2021 clash in the ROH Women's Title Tournament.
So I don't know Allison, but I do know Willow.
Okay. And I know Allison, and I don't know Willow.
Oh, you don't know Willow? Good. Okay.
I mean,
Willow has definitely been on AEW TV and Ring of Honor TV. I'm gonna go pre-show. I'm gonna guess. I'm going with my girl Willow.
You're going Willow. I'm gonna go Allison then.
All right.
We'll start it off. One of the few things we'll probably disagree on.
You know what, sir? I feel like this is that was a gentleman's move by both of us there. I feel like
I agree.
I feel like your sporting presence in this.
You know what I mean? Like I want it to be. Yeah. We got to have some sort of competition in it. It's no fun when we always are just like, meh.
What do we feel here? We got so where are we gonna go with the next one?
I think we'll just go with the 6-man tag team title match.
Yeah. So so that'd be number 6 here on mine. Yeah. That was the one I was. Yeah. All right.
Gotcha. So so we have the Righteous, which is Vincent Bateman and Dutch, defending their titles against Dalton Castle and the Boys.
Who are the Righteous? I don't know them.
Vincent, Bateman, and Dutch. So Vincent is the horror king. He's got a bunch of tattoos. He's got dreads and a beard. He's got this dig what I'm saying, kind of Charles Manson-y.
Who has the belts?
The Righteous.
They got the belts and they're defending them against the boys and Dalton?
Correct.
Oh man, this is a difficult decision because I really want Dalton and the boys to win.
Well, here's something to keep in mind is that Vincent has recently been in Impact as part of the Honor No More faction, which is a bunch of people from Ring of Honor who are in Impact.
Are they just gonna beat up Dalton and the boys?
They could.
That's nice. That's not nice.
But Dalton's Dalton, and everybody loves Dalton Castle.
I love Dalton. I'm gonna go. Oh man, I feel like if you're Tony, I'm thinking I'm going into Tony Khan right now. All right,
You haven't done enough cocaine to think it's Tony
hang on,
Khan.
I'm taking a trip.
Taking a trip.
Tony Khan, let me in your brain. Okay, I got him. All right, here we go. I'm in Tony Khan's brain. I got it. I downloaded.
Did you go through the Malkovich door?
Yeah, well, no, I just downloaded a bunch of information. I sucked it, and then I'm back. I'm back in my brain now. But I was there.
You sucked it, huh?
I sucked the information. I think if I'm Tony Khan, I'm gonna really. I think he's a Dalton guy. You know, I think he's a Dalton guy, and he's gonna be like, you know what, people are gonna love and remember about ROH, some of the good times. They're gonna love some Dalton Castle because Dalton Castle didn't get to be all over, TV and stuff. Yeah, he was on Sinclair and all that, but the rest of the nation didn't get to see Dalton Castle as a champion. So why not put Dalton Castle and his boys? The progressive world these days, Duncan. It would be a reason to do this for just talking points alone. I'm Dalton and the boys.
You're going with Dalton and the boys.
I'm calling a title switch.
I mean, I think that's the safe bet. I think that's a safe bet because Dalton Castle seems a bit more AEW, ROH, whatever. But that said, I'm gonna go with the Righteous to retain.
Oh, here we go.
See, once again, sporting competition.
I like it. Next match I have on my card. Tell me if you've got something different, but I believe it would be Mercedes Martinez as champion versus Serena Deeb. Singles match for the ROH Women's Championship here.
Yeah.
I went last. I think I went. Sorry, I went first the first two times. So I think you're. Yeah, you've been far fucking overdue.
Your champion's advantage. I think that Serena Deeb is gonna take it.
Yeah, I'm Deebing all day on this.
Yeah, I'm Team Deeb all day.
And even if I lose it, I'm gonna feel okay about it because I know I made the right choice.
Yeah, no, because it should be Serena Deeb.
And I think this plays into it, actually. I saw some, spoiler just photos from Dark, the latest episode of Dark, or no, latest taping of Dark. And that does play into a couple things. I think we've talked about one of them as well, pretty big one. But Serena Deeb was out there, and she had a flag that she pulled out that said Deeb's Dojo. So I think that there's an upcoming stable here with Deeb, and she's gonna basically be I think it's perfect if she's the champion with this stable of chicks that she's bringing up behind her as the professor of professional wrestling and all this. Yeah. I think it's perfect. So I hope they go that direction, and I'm super fucking
she's just such a bad bitch. I'm all in on Serena Deeb.
And nothing against Mercedes Martinez, but who feels like more of the Ring of Honor person that should be the women's champion? Mercedes or 100%. Serena Deeb? It's just Serena.
Yeah.
So then we got I don't know that this is in no ascending order or whatever, but this next match on my card is FTR. Of course, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood versus the Briscoe brothers, and it's this is their second
Three Falls match.
Well, it's their second. It's FTR, Briscoe's 2,
Right.
And it's
But it is
this
also
time a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship.
honestly, it's gonna be a banger, but it's FTR all day.
I'm going back and forth on this one so
Yeah?
much. Yeah.
I think they really want to do this whole like I think they really like having a belt collector gimmick going in the background. Now, I can see them putting the titles back on the Briscoes. They represent Ring of Honor.
And that's kind of where I'm going with this one.
However, if it's Ring of Honor, but it's Ring of Honor asterisk Tony Khan, Ring of Honor,
yeah.
Then there's not necessarily the guarantee that they're gonna go with that. So it's anybody's ball game, but I am going with I'm gonna go with FTR on this one.
Gonna go with Briscoes.
Hey, all right. I like it.
Yeah, I think for half the reasons you just named, like it is like it's more
the arguments that I make can literally go either way.
Well, and that's the thing. I think if we had a better idea of what this Ring of Honor was, we would be able to make more informed opinions, right?
Sure.
And so that's what like the confusing thing is about it. Like it is sort of tough. Like I say this, but we're talking about it, and the card's actually wonderful, but it feels a little bit weird having this pay-per-view every couple of months with Ring of Honor when we see, there's no TV, like there's nothing like apart from
that's the thing, like there needs to be more of a Ring of Honor presence.
There does, even if it's just again like and there is that stuff on Dark Elevation, but present it as such. You're not presenting it as such. Put Ring of Honor like in front of it as a TV show. Do a fucking few minutes.
What if you turn the soundstage from the Dark tapings at Universal into the Ring of Honor soundstage of honor?
Could do it. Easily do it. That's what they should do. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about doing.
Like do tapings every other week or something, every 2 weeks, whatever. And then you'd have a rabid fan base every single time.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I love that idea. So anyway,
moving on. Match 3 here.
Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia for the Pillar Wrestling Rules match on the Raw ROH. Hang on here. I've never announced this. What is this? The Ring of Honor Pillar Championship.
Shut up, but yeah, this is it feels like I've seen this match a few times now, because we have at least I guess is Yuta just gonna win it again? I mean, I don't know.
I kind of feel like that.
He's gonna really let William Regal down, isn't he? If he drops it, but I feel like George Jericho's gonna be pretty mad over there with Daniel Garcia if he's not, pulling his weight. I feel like Garcia is more of a Ring of Honor guy, than Wheeler Yuta, and I think I'm gonna go and jump ahead of you here, and I'm gonna call it. I'm going Daniel Garcia for this match because I think that it's more they're gonna utilize Wheeler. Well, yeah. They're gonna utilize Yuta more on the main roster, if you will, than Garcia, and I think Garcia is gonna be down with the Ring of Honor blokes. Because I don't think Jericho Appreciation Society is going to last forever, and he, doesn't fit.
Yeah,
anyway.
No, I can see that. Just to keep it interesting, I'm going to go with Wheeler.
Wow. See?
Yeah.
This is this is going to be a fun one for us to watch.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be buying this one. which a week ago I was like, I don't, and then honestly, the way it's just shaped up, it's like,
Yep.
damn, I'm gonna have to buy that one. Like
they pulled it out.
They really have.
And then like making Briscoe FTR2 a 2 out of 3 falls. I'm like, aha, you have my attention now.
This one's concerning to me, Duncan. Samoa Joe champion,
And
the Ring of Honor World Television Championship against Jay Lethal with Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. It said Duff, it's Dutt. My apologies.
Right, not Duff. But he's not the beer from The Simpsons.
Joe has looked pretty thrashed for a while. He hasn't necessarily. Let's just say it. He hasn't looked great in AEW. He's also gone away. He's been working on other projects. Now he's doing a lot of voiceover stuff, acting stuff, all that.
Yep.
Feel like that's not a very good television champion, Duncan.
Well, I mean, Ring of Honor also doesn't have any television.
Yeah, so it's like, right I mean, that is a good argument. If you're Samoa Joe, you're
actually
like,
the perfect television champion.
Never thought of that. That's
for
perfect.
Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
My logic is infallible.
On this one, I couldn't disagree, or couldn't agree more. Rather, yeah, it's perfect.
I think there's gonna be fuckery with Satnam and Sanjay, but
I think this is an easy Lethal for me. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm going Lethal.
You're going Lethal. Yay, Lethal.
And I do because I think the move with Joe is that he's just gonna be. I think Joe is gonna move into Taz's position, so Taz is moving into JR's position, and I think Joe is going to move into Taz's position. Remember how
I'm going with Samoa Joe.
You going with Joe?
I'm going with Joe.
All right. J Joe.
Yeah, yo.
Hey, yo. Jay and Joe. You might be wearing the belt tonight, or
It's gonna be fucking back and forth.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one to watch for damn sure. Here we go, though. Final main
This
event.
is the one.
And now it's time for the main event.
What the fuck kind of voice was that?
It was my Mark Henry.
Oh.
It was my Rampage. I should do it.
Do
you want me to do it? Do you want me to do it with the voice changer?
No, I don't. I don't think you can sexual chocolate it enough.
Oh, let me see if I can do it. Hang on.
Oh God.
And now it's time for the main event. It's too.
No, that's closer.
And now it's time for the main event.
Yep, there you go. I'll take that as a Mark Henry.
That was my Mark. That was my Mark Henry.
I'll take it. I'll
All
take
right.
that.
See, I'm a talented guy over here.
You are talented. They should hire us for voice work.
Right? Oh, shut up, Thing.
Shut up, Pink.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
I know.
There we go. Fine.
Right.
So last match here, Jonathan Gresham, the champion. He's the Ring of Honor World Champion, Duncan. He is a small tentacle man.
He is the octopus.
He is a small tentacle black man. And he is very good.
He's a phenomenal wrestler.
He
also
is.
married to Jordan Grace.
I know. I can see, the appeal. Jonathan Gresham. I can see the appeal. Anyway, I've seriously been extremely, impressed by him. And lately, of course, he's turned heel and joined Tully Blanchard Enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is kind of a good move for him in general, because I do think that his character was struggling. I think there was some stuff not clicking, and I think if you're really going to reboot Ring of Honor, the logical conclusion is, and I think that we will both agree on this, Claudio is taking this motherfucker.
Has to.
Has to.
Like I could see if it was Gresham versus, what was it, Lee Moriarty, that was who he was gonna originally be facing.
Yeah, and then they did that match on Rampage or Dynamite, whatever, which one it was. They did it earlier in the week to get that out of the way. To not rob Lee completely, right? Like, that's a nice thing that they kind of did in that. Like, they still had like a big, like, high profile match for the championship, and then lo and behold, we get Claudio challenging for it, which is what I think this was the plan the whole time, right? Or before.
Well, I've seen the argument to be made that you know, oh, well, he just joined the Blackpool Combat Club. I'm like, yeah, but so what?
Well, I think that was preempted rather, because of Danielson's injury. We all know that.
Yeah. I don't think he originally
was meant to come back here at this pay-per-view or right before it to promote this pay-per-view, to challenge Gresham and to take the belt. That is what I think was intended the whole time. And guess what? No problem that he might have still joined the Blackpool Combat Club. Who knows? Yeah. Doesn't matter. Glad it happened this way, because I think it's really cool if they start experimenting with Blackpool Combat Club as kind of that one of those bridges, because of the faction between the two brands. If you're going to treat it like two brands, let's treat it like that. And that's also a cool thing to send over to Japan, because it seems like I was trying to explain his name earlier, but the guy that Kingston and Moxley both had a match with over the past couple weeks, Japanese dude, and I can't remember his name. He was phenomenal in both matches, and it's almost as if like this dude bled with Mox. Could he be even considered like an honorary or associate member of BCC, right? And that then you can do like BCC Japan. You can start like expanding upon the whole concept, which I don't know. It just makes sense to me. I think it's really cool, and Claudio can totally be, if you're gonna reboot Ring of Honor correctly, what better guy than the new but familiar face in Claudio to be the sort of the Roman Reigns, the face of the brand. I just think it works. I think he's always been ready. I get pissed at people that do knock on his promo ability, because I've never had a problem with his promos. And I've also heard him talk in multiple language in promos and use it as a bit of a joke. The guy has charisma, and it's just.
It was Takashita.
Konosuke
Takashita.
Takashita, yeah. Those matches, both of them, the Eddie Kingston one and the Moxley one, are phenomenal. And do yourself a favor and watch both those. They're really fucking cool.
Yeah. Man, this is like that's the most diverse our picks have been
in a very, very long time. Yeah,
in a very long time.
Let's see here. We'll start wrapping it up. Don't worry, but I do want to just hit a couple quick things here. We never touched on this, and I don't know if you are aware of this phenomenon, but we talked a little bit about, of course, Swerve Keith Lee winning the championships. I don't think we elaborated on it quite enough. We talked about the match, but there's a million different directions they can go, and I don't even want to speculate on that. But have you been made aware of the Matt Jackson shoe phenomena?
I mean, aside from the obsession with shoes.
Okay, no, it's a bigger thing.
Okay.
So, and it tracks, like I think it's because of, obviously, like the shoe obsession, which is well documented on BTE and of course the wrestling shows, right? So there's a thing that when the Young Bucks are in a match and Matt Jackson loses a shoe, every time there's a title change. Doesn't mean that they win. It doesn't mean that they lose, but it's his signal. Every single time there's a title change. Every single time it's look it up. It's a conspiracy, but it's real. So it's Matt Jackson. Like, think about it. With the one with the Lucha Bros.
Yeah.
With the tax and all that. Like,
Yeah.
they lost the match.
Yeah.
That was when they lost. That was when they lost titles. It goes back a long fucking time. The ladder, on the ladder match, shoe gets pulled off. Which one was the ladder match? There's one where he lost the shoe where like it gets pulled off on the ladder. I can't remember which one.
Was it the Lucha Brothers?
I can't remember at this point. Maybe they won it back. I can't remember. It's all blurred.
I
But
don't
whatever
know.
match that was, the belts changed hands. Doesn't mean the Young Bucks are gonna win again, but it just means whoever could have been a 3-way, right? The belts changed hands. So every time that Matt Jackson loses a goddamn shoe in the match, watch out for it. It's planned, and there's gonna be a change of the belts. If it's
Now I'm never gonna unsee that conspiracy.
yeah, I know. We talked
son of a bitch.
We talked a little bit about Kenny coming back soon, but he's like a hologram, Duncan, at this point in my mind, because have you heard about what Paul White's been talking about lately?
Oh God.
Paul White is thoroughly convinced that in the next 10 years, there will not be championship belts. There will only be holographic belts. There will be holographic belts on this.
Why?
I don't know if he's joking. I don't know if he's just dicking around, but I mean, I think
okay.
he's probably talking about like
Is
how
he ribbon?
I don't know what he's doing. I got to look more into that. Britt Baker though had the best joke of the week, and it was during she interrupted Thunder Rosa's promo, and with Thunderstorm's promo rather. Thunder Rosa, Tony Storm, they're a tag team.
Yeah.
Britt Baker was all like, bitch, I'm the fucking division. I'm the shit. Hey, Thunderstorm, I know how to stop you guys. It's a sandbag. And she handed her a sandbag.
I heard about that.
Oh, you have not seen that?
I haven't
Watch
seen
it. Watch it. It's brilliant, dude. The delivery is phenomenal. The joke is great. The sandbag joke is awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad that they played into that. Like it was that was definitely a fun one. Harland and Two Dimes appeared on AEW Dark. I don't know if you heard that.
Yep, I did hear that. I'm not sure how I feel or if I care.
Don't really either. That's very, very. Oh no, we'll save this. I wanted to do a bit of a G1 kind of like look at G1, but it'll take too long. So we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that another time. I kind of want to like deep dive into it because I'll just give you without going through everything, Duncan. You were like, oh yeah, so you get the brackets for both sides. I will tell you that this year there are 4 blocks.
An A, a B, a C, and a D?
That is correct. There's an A, a B,
Okay.
a C, and a D. So it functions exactly like the round robin that you're used to. This is the G1 Climax. Of course, it's probably the biggest and best professional wrestling yearly tournament. It has to be like of any promotion, right?
I
Like,
mean, it's that and the Battle of Los Angeles for PWG.
Yeah, it would be those. This year, 28 participants. So yeah, and every big New Japan name is in there. It's phenomenal. The different blocks, and it like each block kind of has its own story too. So it'll be very interesting to see. Like, I don't know how that works at the end of the 4 blocks, because 2 blocks, that's easy. They just face each other, right? But like 4 blocks, like how I guess it would be like a semifinal, I'm supposing, and then like yeah. Like
probably. It's going to be a very March Madness-y kind of bracket.
It's really, really cool, and I got a great write-up. We'll check it out sometime on the show, but not tonight because obviously, it's fucking late. But we do need to, of course, address the Titus O Neiil, recent Raw opening this past Monday.
What the fuck was that?
So is this not clearly a get in front of it scenario to you? Because there were reports earlier in the week that, I don't know, like seems like the Wall Street Journal was trying to drum up more information on this Vince controversy, and this very much felt like to me a little bit like, oh shit, some other really big shit's about to drop, so we got to throw Titus out there to basically say that we're a safe space.
Yeah, which is
when you're now insulting us because you're clearly not a safe space.
Because we know better.
Because it's kind of gross. It's not kind of gross. It's gross. It's
Yes.
This one was a little bit too on the nose, and I heard some other people talking about this, and I do agree with it. I didn't think about it until they did, and I just want to mention and reaffirm their point. Titus O Neiil is a very good-hearted dude, like a well-intentioned man. I do feel like this poor bastard has been forced to become almost a propagandist when he means the best,
100%.
but he's been kind of forced into doing this, and I don't think that he would really deep down in his soul, like there's something there that's got to kind of hurt. Like I'm not calling you a sellout, Titus, but I'm calling you a sellout.
I mean, it's also he's got to do his job.
He's got to do his job. That's what. Yeah, exactly.
And if I was making Titus O Neiil money, I would go out there and say whatever the fuck they told me to say to you.
So, like earlier this week, I don't know if you heard the reports, but Dave was throwing around, or someone asked him, like, what is AEW like technically worth? And I think this is still like, obviously a very hard question to answer because it's not a public company, and like, there's a lot of guessing in this, right? So just for perspective, last I looked, I just Googled, WWE is worth $5.7 billion. Now, I don't know that it's actually worth that. Like that feels like that's a pretty high estimate, right? Like it's no one's buying it for 5.7. They're buying it for 3 or 2. They're not buying it for 5.7. That's because the company's only worth what someone will pay for it, right? So, like,
Sure.
So maybe
But I think that's also like the value of what their stock out right now is at the current price, and that.
Yeah. So then, hard to judge with AEW that doesn't have stockholders, all that type of thing.
Yeah.
AEW is apparently, according to Google and according to Dave Meltzer, worth $400 million.
Okay.
Which sounds about right. Like, and that's still, like, you think about that. That's big, man. Like, that's still a lot of fucking money. Like, you don't really think about that, but 400 goddamn million, still a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, okay, so what is Impact worth? And now I just want, this is the game. Like, I just want you to guess. Like, it's more fun if Matthew was here, but what do you think? Because I had no concept. Like, I had no, where would it lie, right? Like, how little, how much, how whatever.
Higher or lower? I guess
lower than
where.
what? Yeah, well,
higher or lower than AEW's worth.
Okay.
I'm
going to tell you it's lower. I'm going to tell you it's lower.
Okay. Impact, I'm going to say 120 million.
So you're not even close. And
higher, lower. So like we could
you
probably
could
get
go
a loan
for a
and buy it.
while. You could go for a while doing lower and lower and lower. So I said
$17 million.
AEW, $400 million.
Yeah.
Impact Wrestling, $4 million.
Wow.
So think about that discrepancy for the longest time that existed between Impact Wrestling and WWE, the 1 and 2 professional North American wrestling companies.
Yeah.
Billions versus $4 million.
Wow.
AEW, $400 million, still considerably less than WWE, but at
Yeah,
least
but
somewhat
goddamn.
able to, and it sort of explains a lot, right? It kind of does, and it kind of makes you almost be like, wow. I think we've been saying this a lot over the last couple of years, but Impact has done a lot with a little. And
they have truly done the Paul Heyman ECW accentuate the positives and hide the negatives.
They really have
very well.
And it's something that we didn't acknowledge.
Too.
We didn't acknowledge it at the time, but it feels like we need to now. Two very last quick things. I said to you this the other night, man. I was like, Duncan, we're going to look back at this weird period when the New Day was like the top shit and everybody was wearing dildos on their heads. And in like 20 years, like, like right now we're looking back at all the Stone Cold t-shirts. We're looking at all the when we were in audiences with stupid
rock
merch.
shirts
Right. And that will happen with us. And we'll look back at some point and be like, we were all wearing unicorn dildos on our heads, light up unicorn dildos, and we loved it.
Sure were.
And
sure did.
We never even questioned it. Like
and you're still mad that you don't have one of those.
I never got one. I never got one.
We just took for granted the unicorn horn that it would always be around. If you have a New Day unicorn horn, reach out to us.
Yeah, I want one. I need one. I need one for the podcast and the studio. I will wear it. Not every episode, but I will wear it. Yeah. I will go out.
If you have two,
I will go to
if you have three,
I will go to the
we
pub.
all need one.
I will go to the pub. I will go I will do regular things in it.
Yeah, I will hang a joint from it.
Yeah.
So that I can hit it and then let it go.
That's a good idea.
And then
maybe I'll that's a good way if I never want to lose my lighter. I've just put it on a line, dangle it off there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
You will still find a way to lose your lighter.
Yeah, well, you're right. That typically does happen.
It does.
So
last
Duncan, last thing. This is a special one. I saved this for the very end, just for you, because you know how I like a silly gimmick in my wrestling.
We are both fans.
Okay.
Of the gimmick.
So this is a new one. This is gonna blow your mind. Just found out about this guy not long before the show. This is. Did you see him? There he is.
Oh boy.
His name is
Big O
Possum. Yep. His tagline is "Eat trash, fake your death." He uses his possum, his baby possum, as a weapon periodically, and wrestling. Yeah, wrestling is the only true art. But look at him. This is a masked luchador dressed like a possum.
A possum.
And I thought you'd enjoy this.
Honestly, I love it.
Yeah. I think
local wrestler called Big O Possum. A local to where?
I don't know. This is on the Reddit, so don't you dare ask me of the things. I'm zooming in on
Possum.
I couldn't find anything more about him, but I'm pretty stoked that that's what we got. Look at it. He's got. Is that a possum in your pants? Or are you just happy to see
possum in your pouch, bro? So literally, you type in Big O Possum, and the only thing that comes up are pictures of possums.
Yeah,
and I'm not even upset about that.
Yeah, that's what I experienced. It took a lot of work to refine this. To this is the work. This is me doing the Lord's work for the wrestling podcast. I will. You know what? I'll make sure to save his picture. So and I'll post it.
On his Twitter.
Yeah, he's got a Baja Blast or something. But I don't think that's his Twitter. I don't think that's his Twitter. I think that's the guy that found him.
No, that's a different Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. That dude just found him.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy, I'm telling you, he's gonna be a big deal. And what's his name? Big O Possum. Big O Possum.
I don't know why, for whatever reason, Ken Anderson comes up.
I'll post him in the group.
Yeah, post him in the group. We need more information about the big O Possum.
Yeah. If you know anything about it, we want to interview him. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need all the information on this.
I think that would be a good thing.
This
Duncan,
will be my wife's favorite wrestler.
is this the end of the show?
It needs to be.
Okay. Let's do the thing that we end. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
That's our dancing dance. We like to dance out of here, you know.
Yeah.
And we thank you for listening. By the way, this was episode 167.
Nice.
And yeah, if you want to help us out, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ONRS. Of course, never be afraid to give us a call at
407-906-6466.
happy to answer any questions, talk about any wrestling things that you want to talk about. Yeah, just call them and leave them over there. It's fun. Anyway, yeah, facebook.com/groups/Ohno wrestling. Instagram, you know, do that thing. Ohno wrestling, you know, is over there. And yeah, I'm over at Twitter. I'm on there. That's my name, @Owen Butler. I don't know that that's really a good plug, but I'm there. If you want to do that, twitch.tv/ONRS live. Do not forget to check that out if you're a listener to the podcast. And if you're a listener of the Twitch, then of course, don't forget to check out the podcast, OhnoWrestling.com. Don't forget about Ohno Radio Show and all that it has to offer. We will be live tomorrow night, Thursday. You know what we do. And Duncan, you want to woo out of here?